let's make a start. Welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Thank you for joining Square One Technologies and Splash BI for our Seamlessly Access and Extract Your Oracle Fusion ERP Data webinar. And we will review a few secrets, not just one, during the session. Thank you to Square One Technologies for helping us set this up. Square One Technologies is our value-added distributor in the EMEA region, and my name is Graham Spicer. As you can see from the screen, I'm the country head for UK, Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Asia, APAC, in fact. And I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Krishna and Rajat, who will be showing you some of the technical stuff and talking about a little bit about our secret formulae, etc. So moving swiftly on. Oh, by the way, you'll find during the session there'll be a couple of polls, so please answer. Interested in feedback, you will be given the feedback from the answers, and also you'll notice on the platform there is the ability to post questions on the Q&A section, so please feel free to put questions up at any time. We'll not necessarily interrupt, we may save them till the end, but depending on where they're relevant at the different points of the presentation, we may well discuss them during the session. So let me move on then, thank you. So here's our agenda. I'll tell you a little bit about the webinar, introduce both Square One Technologies and Splash BI, and then Krishna will tell you all about SQL Connect, and Rajat will tell you about Splash OC, and a brief Q&A session towards the end. We're going to start with a poll question. If you could all give us your attention and answer this, please. And the first poll question, which should be showing in your poll now, there it is what is your key interest today? Okay, so are you going to looking to establish self-service reporting? Are you looking for a solution that will enable you to easily develop your own reports? Or are you just looking for a way to extract all of your data from Oracle Cloud? I'll give you a few minutes to respond. This is multiple choice, by the way. You can select more than one. Right, I'll move on now and I'll give you the answers as where we are. 57 people, 57% of the people on the webinar this morning are looking to have a self-service reporting platform established within their organization. And 71% are looking to be able to easily develop their own reports. And 71% again, looking to be able to extract all of their data from Oracle. Interesting numbers, thank you. Right, let's move on. So what brings us here today? It's all about enabling quicker business decisions by giving your users access to the data that they should be able to see on an hourly, minutely, daily basis. There's two elements involved in enabling decision makers. One, self-service, which a lot of you have already voted for, being able to provide your users with the ability to run their own reports, run their own analyses. And then the second part is more IT-based complex querying and using something that has been christened quite recently as a data pipeline. Our aim as a solution provider is to make your users' life easier, enabling quicker decisions, which should sped up through the food chain, easy for me to say, of the organization, and hopefully enable everybody to be able to make database decision making. We do that by bringing together ad hoc transactional reporting, storyboarding, month-end, year-end fiscal reporting, workforce analysis, across all the aspects of the business: finance, supply chain, HR, sales, marketing, and in particular, Oracle deployments. Splash BI itself is a BI platform, very, very similar to Power BI or Tableau. But the difference is that we have developed our own solutions, and this was done after about 18 months of conversing with Gartner. And we have a history of developing Oracle-based reporting solutions. It's what we were founded for back in 2001. We have locations in the US, UK, and India, and obviously we have our value-added distributor in the Middle East now, and a number of partners that are being signed up by Square One. We have over 400 customers globally, 400 employees, and we work across virtually every industry. We haven't come across one yet. Built on the BI platform, Splash BI, we have 8 different solutions. We're going to focus on just 2 of them today, Splash OC and SQL Connect. SQL Connect, for the developers of you that are on the call, basically, if you've been in the Oracle sector for as long as I have, you'll know what Toad is. We refer to SQL Connect as Toad on steroids. And if you're missing Toad because it's not available on the Oracle Cloud, then you will love SQL Connect. And I'm sure Krishna will do a very good job of showing it to you shortly. Splash OC is our Oracle Cloud solution. It has a connector. It has pre-built views and reports. It understands security, and it has a data pipeline facility. And my colleague Rajat will show you all of that a little bit later. So moving on, before I introduce Krishna, we have a second poll question. And this is of interest to Krishna for when he gives part of his presentation. So if you could offer your answers to which of these do you think is the hardest part of running a data team? Data complexity and continually shifting requirements, coordination, lack of quality data lineage, or data silos across disparate systems. I'll give you a few minutes to all answer. Some fascinating voting going on here. So 100% of the people that voted for data complexity and shifting requirements as being the hardest part of running a data team. 68% voted for data silos, 56% lack of quality lineage, and only 6% coordination. Excellent. Thank you very much. We will now introduce my colleague Krishna, and with a little bit of magic, we will start to see Krishna's screen.
Thank you, Graham. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Very excited to be here today. I am Krishna. I am a solutions architect working for Splash BI from Atlanta headquarters. Usually, 70% of my typical workday is spent talking to business leaders about data products, brainstorming ideas. During my discussion, most of the time, the topic of SQL Connect comes into focus, which is, in short, a SQL ID for Oracle Fusion Cloud. But why a SQL ID for Oracle Fusion Cloud is so important? Well, let's talk about a scenario where you are part of a data team. In a business environment, business users are requesting information from you. The requested data ranges from different subject areas such as HR, payroll, benefits, and other subject areas such as absence, time entry, etc. Sometimes they need to reconcile the data also across module. For example, data going from payroll to general ledger. Now, in traditional way, if you are trying to get the data, since there is no database access, no direct database access in Oracle Fusion Cloud, you have to use BI Publisher. Using BI Publisher data model, as you are seeing in this screen, you can query the data from Oracle Fusion Cloud. But the flow goes somehow like this. You go to the BI Publisher, create a data model, create a SQL query, then you are presented with this text box in your screen where you have to enter the SQL query. You enter the SQL query, and usually the SQL query that we use in production, those are very complex in nature. There are multiple subqueries. There are correlated subqueries, window functions, lead, lag, you name it. The complexity It depends on what kind of data we are getting. So without any code completion assistance, it gets really difficult sometimes to build that query in that text box. After all of that, you get the data which is limited by 200 rows, and you get an XML output limited by 200 rows, which you cannot really do anything with that. It's not CSV, not Excel. So all of that step is to get data related to one query. Now, suppose you get another request to get some other information, the same process follows. In SQL Connect, we were able to do everything in one shot, which is you enter that SQL query right over there, and you just execute. Click on that blue icon right here, the blue icon. Once you execute the query, you will see the results, and immediately you can export the data into CSV or Excel. And also, apart from that, you can control the rows, how many rows of data you want. You can also get a lot of code completion assistance in the query editor. So just by doing that, just by presenting you with a SQL query editor, the query output into CSV Excel, we are able to save a lot of time for the developers. And it's about 60% of the time. So what are the different features that we have? Of course, you get real-time access to the data from Oracle Fusion Cloud. You can create multiple connections, like you create in SQL Developer or Toad. You can connect to multiple environments. Usually, I have seen customers, they have 2 or 3 environments. One would be production, one would be development, one would be test. So you can connect to all of those environments. If you are using single sign-on in your Oracle Fusion Pod, you can also use SSO in SQL Connect. You do not have to enter the password. It will be handled by your identity provider. You can, of course, export to CSV and Excel. We also have IntelliSense, which is the code completion assistance built into SQL Connect, and database browser, where you can browse, view different database objects, such as views, procedures, package specifications, and the database browser. And lastly, we also have advanced table level security. And this is basically a feature that is very unique to SQL Connect, that sometimes you may want some users to access all tables, but there are always some particular user whom you do not want to see all of the data. For example, PII information, the sensitive informations like date of birth, other details like that, you do not want everyone to see. So advanced table level security is kind of a row level security that you can use in SQL Connect. And this is highly customizable. We have documentation to show every step of it that you can use in SQL Connect to block those information for specific users. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that. So let's see the tool in action. If you have any question, please post your questions in the questions window, and we will answer it right after the session. So when you, if you want to use SQL Connect, just go to Splash PI, go to Solutions, Oracle, and here is SQL Connect. So once you open SQL Connect website, you go to Getting Started and Downloads. Here you see 2 download options. Depending on your system, you can use Windows or Mac. So once the download is complete, you install it, and after installation, it will prompt you to sign up as an user. Once the sign up is complete, you receive your user credentials over email, the email that you provided during sign up, and you are good to go for 15 days. 15-day trial period starts right there. So, so if I start SQL Connect, it looks right here. As you see, this is the icon. So once I double click on that, right now it's not going to ask me anything. It will, my username and password is already saved, so it will log me in directly. So this is the tool. All right. On the left side, you see different connections, and just click on the plus icon. You can add the connection. You just add your Oracle Cloud username that you're using to log into Oracle Fusion Cloud. You use your password and the URL, and just put a name like dev1 test, something like that. If you're using SSO, single sign-on, in Oracle Fusion Cloud, you can put, again, the connection name. Just put the URL. This is your environment URL. And the system will take you to the identity provider's website, for example, Okta, Microsoft Active Directory. So it will take you over there. If you have any multi-factor authentication, it will go through all of those steps. After that, the system will take the control back into SQL Connect, which is this window. So you can create multiple connections just like that. Once the connections are done, once the connections are created, here you can see all of these connections. For example, I'm choosing the prod connection. So right now, SQL Connect is connecting to the production environment for me, and this is my username and password. It will show the connection is active. After that, I can start executing my SQL. And all I have to do is just click on that SQL, or you can even select it. Like if you want, you can do that. What I do, I just click anywhere in the SQL, click on this one, this play button, or just press Control Enter. And that's it. You are getting live data straight from Oracle Fusion Cloud, which is ready to be exported into CSV, Excel, and HDL. HDL is the pipe delimited format. Now see, this data is limited by 100 rows. That's what we do initially when you are running any query. But you can also use max rows. You can turn it on, and any rows that is like maximum, that will be presented over here. I can also change the environment from one environment to another. For example, I can go to this environment and run the same query. Few things about this query output window. Sometimes, when we are doing some kind of exploratory data analysis, I always have to go to the extreme left to see the data, what kind of information is there. Again, come back here, see what is the ID, and again. So this is how I have to explore. Here, just right-click, click on single record view, and you can see all of the data right here. You can also go from one row to another. All right. Now, if you want to view the SQL which is being executed right now against the system, you can see that here also. All right. So let's go to another query, which is right below this one. And the difference in this query is, this is something very common for any developers is to use the bind variables. See the P effective date? This is the bind variable. So you can also use bind variable using SQL Connect. But what happens when you have bind variable? Let's see. So I am just executing the SQL. So this is the screen you are presented with. SQL Connect has an intelligent engine which goes over all of the bind variables, finds the parameter name, which is the name of the bind variable, finds the data type. See the person number. That is, by looking at the number, it looks like it's a number format, but actually in database, it's a varchar. So SQL Connect intelligently identifies those data type as much as possible, and it takes an educated decision about these data types. For date, it's giving us a calendar. So I'm selecting the date, clicking on OK and execute. And you can put more parameter values depending on your need. So I'm clicking on OK and execute. And here is the result that is straight from Oracle Fusion Cloud. Now, another feature I would like to show you is on the security side. Remember, during the previous slide, I was showing that you can restrict a few tables depending on different users or roles. So this is one SQL. We can use it to show that kind of feature. So this SQL I am executing using my user who has access to all of the tables. And I am able to get the output. Right now, SQL Connect is executing the query. It's going to Oracle, bringing the data, and here is the data. If I go to another connection, for example, this is a no PII, which is no personal identifier. So this is the custom rule that we created to limit some table access, and we have all of the documentation available to create this kind of configuration. So if I execute it for Lisa, you do not have access to the following tables. And these are the two table names, per national identifiers, per persons. And if I go to another connection for a different user, for example, this user, let's see, SQL Connect is connecting to Oracle Fusion Cloud. And right now the connection is all set. I'm executing this. And this person doesn't have access to all of these tables. And the only way to execute this SQL is to remove these tables from query, remove all of the related columns from the query, and then you can execute the SQL. So this is one of the very unique features that is very useful for our clients, especially when you are dealing with Oracle Fusion data in production, which has a lot of information, a lot of sensitive information, I say. Another thing that I would like to show you is the DB browser, which is right here under View, DB browser, or you can just press F4. If you go to Help, you can see all of the shortcuts. And it will take you to our website where it will show you the list of shortcuts right here. And this is very useful, this entire list that you can get directly from the SQL Connect. You can basically use it from your day-to-day activities. So if
Krishna,
I go to
while you're showing that, could I ask you a question, please? We have a question come up from Muad. Is SQL Connect a cloud service or is it on-prem? And where is the data stored after running the queries?
Very good question. Thank you for asking. So SQL Connect is a local system. It's not hosted by any cloud. Once you install it, it resides only in your laptop. All of the data, such as this connection information, which you are creating locally, these are saved only in your system. Okay. If you are clicking on, like if you're using SSO, then you are basically not saving any information, but all of the data that is stored in your system, and we do not have access to any of that.
Okay, excellent.
That's a good question, Graham.
Okay, we have a second one come up from IAD. Can I see all schema objects as tables, views, packages, the same as when using Toad on a Prime database connection?
Yes, this is something I'm going to show right now. So if you go to View, DB browser. Now, let's select a connection. So I'm connected to prod, for example. I'm just typing a table name. It could be any table name, right? Table or object. So if I press enter right here, see, these are the objects that is coming from Oracle Fusion Cloud. The ones in orange, these are the views. And what do you see in views? That is the owner, that is the schema name, the column names, the data type. And if you even click on this view SQL, let's click on that. It shows you the entire view SQL with how the view is built. With every where condition, with the exact table name, it shows you that detail. Let's go back to the DB browser. If you click on these yellow ones, these are basically the package specs. You can use this package specification in your SQL statement also. And then let's go to these purple ones. The purple ones are usually the tables. And similarly, you see the column name, the data type, and also the owner. We also show the indexes, which is very useful for you when you are working with any SQL statement, and also the constraints that the table has. And this is same for any other tables as well, indexes and constraints.
Excellent. So to summarize those two questions then, it's a local stored solution. It's on somebody's laptop. And yes, everything that you can see in Toad, you can see the cloud equivalent via SQL Connect.
Graham. And that is all we had for today. If you have any question, please go to our website and also reach out to us. Anytime you have any question, we will be able to answer those for you.
Thank you,
So
Krishna.
thank you, Graham.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Excellent. Praveen, could you switch to Rajat now, please? Thank you very much. Over to you, Rajat. Thank you.
Thanks, Graham. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. I'm Rajat Sharma, and I head the overall delivery and implementation of Splash Pay and its solutions across UK and EMEA. And I will be walking you through the Splash OC, wherein we will discuss how easily you can extract your entire Fusion Pod data into your local data warehouse and do out-of-the-box reporting on top of it. All right. So, from the aspect that we're seeing that the adoption of the Oracle Fusion is massive. Lots of customers are now adopting, or they are embarking their transformation journey. Thousands of the enterprises, they are leveraging this SaaS capability. And the reason is simple, because they need to, via the agile methodology, they can basically maximize the efficiency with very less maintenance. But over the last few months, having discussed and speaking to a lot of our customers, the enterprises, they struggle with utilizing the data from cloud native ERP and SaaS systems. So our Fusion Cloud, Oracle Fusion Cloud application customers, they've shed significant light on this challenge, that extracting the right data sets from SaaS applications like Fusion Cloud and getting rid of the data silos for their insights, reporting, as well as the data-driven decisions. They are the holy grails of any data-driven enterprises. And a very typical data distribution, as you can see over here, and according to the ITC, that a large number of the organizations, they are unable to use their data effectively. And with the growing data, especially in the SaaS, it becomes, the challenges are significant as well, because you do not have access to the data directly, especially in your database. So, how do we solve these different challenges, and what are the different objectives, for those enterprises? So, from the aspect of data getting generated, especially from the adoption from Fusion, it is massive. With the increased data generation in the businesses, our customers, they've invested in tools and technologies to democratize these data streams across the enterprises. And the objective is the easy accessibility for the business users of their data. The objective is to getting rid of the data silos between Fusion Cloud applications and other systems, and extracting the right data sets for the reporting and insights. And then the ability to be able to reuse these existing skills and integrate with their existing data centricity effort. So, shouldn't there be a self-service solution that doesn't require an extensive IT intervention, just to be able to extract the data securely So we've got a poll question now. Graham, do you want to take this one? So if you can answer this question quickly, which says, how are you currently extracting the data from your Oracle Cloud applications? Are you using the ERP SCM extracts? Are you using the custom OTBI reports to Excel reports? Or do you have your own custom inbuilt solution? Give you a quick few seconds to answer this question before moving on. Right. So let's discuss the typical challenges of the data extraction from the Fusion Cloud applications. Like all the SaaS applications, Oracle Fusion Cloud applications, architecture and technology, they are complex. Although highly effective in the intended use cases, but the underlying complex data model with thousands of the tables holds the organizations back from using the data more and getting better value out of their systems. Especially if you've been the Oracle user, wherein you had access to your entire database, your entire tables, packages, etc. And when you are now moved into Fusion, or you are in your journey to move to Fusion, you can't basically access those, access your data, especially securely, right? So the business users, especially, they need quick access to be able to, answer the questions like, which data sets needs to be downloaded, how do I handle the enormous number of the objects, as well as how do I quickly integrate my Fusion Cloud applications data with other on-prem cloud native and hybrid systems, right? So the number one challenge is, accessing the database, removing the data silos, then the human resource cost just for me to be able to extract the data and then manipulating it as well. So it isn't just about doing the ad hoc analysis, but also about accessing my data as well securely, again based upon the responsibility, based upon the security that I have access to within the Fusion. And then keeping up with the incremental changes as well. Okay, I can access my entire data set, but what happens when the more of those transactions are entered, how do I keep hold of those incremental data changes as well? How quickly I can get access to it for me to be able to then do the ad hoc analysis on top of it. So how can I save time and my efforts on data extraction, on reporting with a data pipeline? So the data extraction process, we believe in Splash BI should be seamless, easy to use, and wherein the users no longer have to write lines of the codes to address the data needs, right? And what this basically means is that the power users no longer need to rely excessively on their IT as well as their data engineering teams for every data extraction request, right? For them to be able to do the ad hoc analysis. So you could imagine basically, if I'm requesting out, access for the transactions that I might have entered, last night or yesterday, for me to be able to access that particular data, I need to raise the request again and again with my IT team. So I want to simplify that process as well. And we believe that the enterprises should have complete flexibility to keep the replicated database on-prem as well as on the cloud, right? And then the security, which is the foremost important thing, that the authorized users should be able to easily connect traditional database tools like SQL Developer, among others, to it and develop their own ad hoc SQLs as and when required. Users should also be able to run their analysis directly on this replicated database and thereby overcoming the speed and performance issues that they might face in their SaaS environment. So we basically want to simplify this entire process. But
Rajat, may I just interrupt you for a minute? We have the poll results from the previous one that you put up about extracting data. 47% of the people that polled said they were currently using ERP SCM extracts. 68% are using custom OTBI reports to Excel, and 31% have a custom inbuilt solution. Just thought you might like to know that before we continue.
Yeah. Thanks, Graham.
Thank you.
Right. So how do we solve these typical data challenges, for me to be able to access the data, that is there sitting within the Fusion pod? So this is where Splash OC data pipeline comes at work, right? So our customers, they are basically seamlessly using this data pipeline to be able to replicate the data as well as do ad hoc analysis. So Splash OC data pipe is built ground up to intuitively solve your data extraction challenges on the road to data centricity. With easy to use drag and drop interface, Splash OC not only allows you to connect real time against your Fusion pod, but it also allows you to do table to table replication of your Fusion data into your data warehouse of your choice. So you will have the ability to be able to, again, based upon the security that you have, to be able to connect real time into your Fusion pod, run ad hoc queries from your finance as well as SCM perspective, and then also have at the same time ability to be able to go into the data warehouse, query those, do your ad hoc analysis from historical perspective and get the result out of it. And how do we basically do it? This is the overall architecture diagram of the Splash OC. So if I read the diagram from left to right, so you can basically see on the left-hand side, I have access to multiple SaaS applications, including Fusion Pod, Workday, etc. Now the arrow on the top, you can see, gives me the ability to be able to run all my queries in real time against my Fusion Pod to be able to extract the data. But at the same time, the same platform also allows me to do table-to-table replication via the data pipeline into the data warehouse of my choice. So I could basically replicate my entire Oracle Fusion Pod data into any of these different data sources. It could be Oracle database, it could be into my Microsoft SQL Server, as well as Snowflake. And then have the ability to be able to then open this data warehouse to the tools like Power BI, Tableau, as well as the platforms like Splash BI, which again comes with its own set of the reports, gives you the ability to be able to understand your data based upon the security that the users may have and do the ad hoc analysis on top of it.
We have a question, Rajat.
Sure.
So does this mean that you can combine data from multiple sources, different cloud applications, and possibly even on-premise into the same reports?
Yes, that's correct. So this then opens up the possibilities for the users to be able to build a single report wherein the data is coming in from multiple data sources. And at the same time, while you are executing that report will understand your multiple securities in those multiple systems as well, and then produce the result which you are access to or authorized to see in your different SaaS applications or different source systems.
Okay, and a second question. What about incremental data loads, or do you have to download all of the data every time you want to do it?
So Splash OC's algorithm is written in a way wherein it will understand, what are the incremental changes that you have made in your pod. So if there has been any updates on the transactions, or if the new transactions has been added into the Fusion pod, Splash OC will intelligently understand and only download those incremental changes rather than having to do the necessarily full download of your data again and again. So very good question as well. And we'll cover these questions as well as these architecture diagram wherein the data from multiple sources is coming in next few slides as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Rajat.
Thank you. So moving on, the benefits of Splash OC data pipe is, it's a no-code platform. That means basically it allows you to be able to seamlessly download your data without having to write hundreds and hundreds of the lines of the codes. As well as it also understands the incremental changes that happens within your Fusion pod. So you do have the ability to be able to basically, or Splash OC has the ability to be able to only download those incremental changes. It understands all your data sources, including any DFF and KFF columns. It gives you the ability to be able to exclude the columns that you don't want users to access or you don't want to download into your data warehouse. So data sensitive columns like SSN can be easily excluded just again using the drag and drop interface of Splash BI. It will detect any new columns that have been added. And the advantage of using Splash OC is that, let's say, your Fusion pod gets upgraded and there are changes that Oracle has done into your tables or removed certain tables, Splash OC will ensure that your connector or your data pipeline is up to date and it will make those necessary changes as well. And what we've seen with other customers is that they already have access to multiple Oracle products like OTBI and BI Publisher as well as Analytics Cloud. And what we believe, and having worked with a lot of customers, that we fit in the gap that you see between these two, wherein you've got your OTBI and BI Publisher to do your ad hoc queries, which aren't easy to use. There are multiple steps, as Krishna showed as well. There are multiple steps for you to be able to just extract your data. And then, when it comes to Analytics Cloud, it gives you the high level information, but for you to be able to drill down, to be able to see the transaction level information is again, a huge task, is a clumsy task, and it will take you time as well. So Splash OC basically complements these solutions. It fits in between these two different solutions, and it gives you the ability to be able to not only see the higher level of the data, but also gives you the ability to be able to drill down to the transaction level details as well. And all by understanding the security that you have within your Fusion. So moving on, let's discuss a quick case study with one of our customer, and they were in their transformation journey to Fusion Pod, and they had significant data silos between their financial data that was sitting in the Fusion as well as in the other data sources. And this basically had massive impact on their reporting. They had to manually write those reports. Sometimes they would be incomplete and inaccurate as well, and it would take them hundreds of hours each month just to be able to accurately generate those different report sets. And with Splash OC data pipeline into the picture, the users had access to be able to download their entire Fusion data into the data warehouse and then make those relevant changes for them to be able to report, again in a single report, wherein the data was coming in through multiple data sources, and which basically incentivized the high performing outlets. It gave them the ability to be able to quickly generate those different reports and remove those data silos that they had within their process. And how did we basically do that? This was the architecture diagram that we that we are basically showcasing you as well. So you can basically see that you have access. They had access to their Fusion Cloud, but then they also had the access, their data setting in Oracle E-Business Suite as well as ACPAC. And then they, using the Splash BI platform capability as well as Splash OC, they were able to replicate the data into a single data warehouse and then use the platform to deliver a single report out of the box. And they were able to basically access the entire data directly through a single report. Moving on, we've got a new poll question as well. Graham, would you like to take that one?
Yep, thanks, Rajat. So obviously we know people are already extracting their data, so I'm guessing most people are going to answer yes, they do want to extract their data from Oracle Cloud applications. Maybe you don't have a defined use case yet, and maybe it's possible that you don't want to extract it. You're happy with what you've got, but we'll see how people vote on this as it goes. And at the moment, we're not one person has voted no, so still going. So at the moment, we're looking at 64% people have said yes, 66% yes, 33% maybe, but nobody doesn't want to be able to extract their data from Oracle. And this is what we're finding with, particularly with people that have been using Oracle for a year or so now and realizing that they can't get all of that data that they need their users to be able to access. Okay, so final result, 62%, 38%.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Graham. So as you mentioned, Graham, that it is in line with what we are seeing with other customers as well. And if you are wanting to extract your data, what are the things that you need to basically consider? And these are the different points that you should consider before you start basically extracting the data. And the number one is, will the chosen technology extract the data, entire data from my Fusion Cloud application? Will it ensure all those incremental changes that happen over the period of time? Will it be able to basically extract those incremental changes as well without having to put a load into my Fusion system, into my Fusion pod, just to be able to re-extract the entire set of the data again and again? How long would it take for me to be able to replicate the data? We've seen with our customers, they've got billions of records. They've been in Fusion for past 2 years, but they're still not able to handle that massive amount of the data or do a complete full download of the data. So how long would it take for your organization or your enterprise to be able to replicate that entire data? Will it cause any performance issue on your Fusion Cloud instance? And what will be the ROI, right? So if I'm using any other third-party tool, or if I'm writing my own set of the code, will I be basically able to maintain it? What will be my ROI? What will be the cost and the internal resources that will be required to maintain, the custom data extraction pipeline? And then the last but not the least, what will be the impact on the data pipelines when the Oracle Cloud Fusion application will do an upgrade? So how would I basically manage those as well? So these are the questions that I would leave you to think and discuss amongst your colleagues as well, as to how you want to proceed with the data extraction and how would you basically solve those different challenges as well. That's it from my side. Pram, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajat. That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, a few thank yous then. Unless anybody's got any other questions, there's nothing coming up in the Q&A session. I hope it's been successful. It seems to have been. We've held everybody's attention during the session. Only lost a couple of people at different points. I guess the couple of the techies after we finished with the SQL Connect session. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for giving up your time. I hope you still have time for lunch. Thank you to the Square One and Splash BI marketing teams for their efforts in getting this set up. And thank you to Minosh and his team from Square One for helping facilitate this as well. So we're looking forward to running some further. We have a question. We have a question. So let me share my screen to start with to get that back up. And we have a question now that says, I have OBIE on site for EBS. Can I extract HCM Cloud to OBIE? So this is from Dr. Javed Jadun. It's possible. I don't know necessarily why you would want to now, because OBIE is actually going into D support. So you might find it easier the other way to extract your data from EBS in your cloud environment. Rajat, are you on mute or are you speaking?
I can speak, Ram.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so we have customers that are now moving away from OBIE. Oracle obviously encouraging everybody to move from OBIE to Oracle Analytics Cloud. But OBIE is in a similar situation to where Discoverer was 5-6 years ago and is about to be de-supported. So yes, you can do it, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Another question, can we run a trial? Can we trial Splash OC? Yes, you can. That's not a problem. We do a free 30-day trial, and that can be facilitated through Square One here for you in the Middle East. And it takes probably about 10 to 15 days to get things set up from the time that you are ready to instruct us to move forward. We provide all the training. We provide you with access to everything. We provide you with all the support, because we feel that it's important throughout a trial that you're not only trialing the software, but you're trialing us and Square One as an organization as well. So yeah, you will be able to do that, and we can help you with that as well. Any further questions? If not, we are finishing 6 minutes early. Good effort, everybody. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Rajat, for your presentations. And once again, thank you to everybody for joining. We'll keep the platform open for a couple more minutes, just in case anybody has any further questions that they want to post. If you would like copies of the slides, then you can see Minosh's and my email addresses at the bottom of the page. Please contact one of us and we can get anything to you that you like. Or if you have any additional questions that you think of after the session, please email us and let us know, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much.